Hi, I'm Dr. Adam Locketts. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us today to be interviewed for our podcast. It's going to help so many others to be educated about what's going on. So if you wouldn't mind, please just briefly tell us your first name only and then what state you're in and anything else by way of introduction. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dallas. I'm from North Dakota. It's pretty nice out today and it's glad to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you again. You get a gold star for cannabis bravery, especially coming from North Dakota, being willing to speak publicly about this extra gold stars. So kudos. What prompted you to start using medical cannabis initially? What got you going in this direction? If you could just tell us that.
I had some friends that were out in California who had been prescribed it for their anxiety, and someone who suffers from really intense anxiety and PTSD symptoms. I thought, I really need to try this because I've tried other methods and they just really did not help. But this one is just fly away success for me.
And so, had you had a chance to try this then on your travels, or it was just recommended to you, or how was it prior to trying it?
So it was purely on a recommendation. They said, if you can get a hold of this up there, I know it's a lot stricter, but you should try this and see if it helps you. And I decided to go with a 6-month program to see if it would help my symptoms at all. And I was amazed to find it absolutely cured them almost.
Mhm. Great. And then just touching on the process is how it's been. As you said, it's different in every state. How
Yes.
has it been with our clinic, with TimeWise, and then also with working with your state's Department of Health?
It's honestly been very smooth and easygoing for me. I know some people have had a few issues depending on the state, but in North Dakota, the department and those working in it have been very quick moving and easy to work with in my experience.
And then as far as actual products that you've tried, and obviously it's always a bit of a learning curve when you're starting with cannabis. Our recommendation is to start low and go slow. That's not
Yes,
always possible, but have you found products that work to treat your symptoms?
I have. I do wish there was a slight better edible. So, because I have bad lungs, so it would be very nice if I could have something that was, more edible based. But I know that's not allowed up here quite yet. But as for ingestion, if that was, sorry, I kind of lost the track, but I very much like smaller amounts. I know some people do need larger amounts, but I agree. Starting as low as possible, because if you get too much, you can really ruin your day by getting too much of the stuff.
Absolutely. It's definitely important to balance it, and especially with other phytocannabinoids like the CBD that aren't psychoactive.
Yes.
In terms of your overall function, then, what have you yourself noticed as a first question in terms of your abilities, your ability to do things, kind of the 50,000 foot view as a cannabis user?
Well, before, I tell people, I strictly ordered my groceries through the internet. I could not deal with a, person checking me out at the grocery store, having to hand them money. It was a very intense ordeal for me. It seems silly, but now, I can go to the public library. I can check out books. I can do my shopping in person. So it's really opened it up and lets you see the world from a new light, being able to actually interact with people properly.
And have you been able to reduce or eliminate any other pharmaceuticals, prescriptions, non-prescriptions that you were taking to treat these same symptoms?
Yes, I've pretty much cut down everything. I'm just taking the medical marijuana, and I have my asthma inhaler because that's a pretty strict need for me.
Has anyone else spoken to you or commented to you since you've been out more socially on your changes in your health, on your what your function is? Has anyone else been able to notice those things, do you think?
Oh, definitely. My fiance is noticed, in the time we've been together. She says my mood has completely changed around, because even if I sometimes I'll get in a funk in the morning and I'll be like, no, I don't need it this morning. I'll go a while and then I'll start getting really anxious and I start tapping my fingers. That's a very obvious sign. that I haven't had my medication in the last, 4 hours or so. So no, there's a very obvious lack of physical anxiety, and obviously my conversations just flow a lot better.
Mhm. Would you refer friends or families to this program as it is now?
Absolutely. I think if you have, especially crippling anxiety, because that's what I deal with, I think it's absolutely worth a shot. Start low, like you said, and give it a shot, even just a small 6 month or whatever program. Just try it out and see how it affects you. No need to commit long term. It's not like really habit forming, so you don't have to worry about getting off of it, over the next X amount of months with some pharmaceuticals.
Right, right. And you don't have to worry if, for whatever reason, your pocketbook runs out or you travel outside the state. You're not going to go into withdrawals like you would if you were on pills and that type of thing. That's the other
It,
safety feature of it.
yes, exactly. I completely agree.
Mhm. Have you faced any discrimination or bigotry as a result of being a cannabis user, or have you kept it so private that no one would know?
I try to keep it as private as possible. I do, unfortunately, my fiance's parents are very unthrilled that I need it. They see it more as a crutch than anything that could help me, but they really don't understand the sort of things I've been through. And I'm just, I'm not willing to share that with them. So it's hard to make them understand, sometimes that some people do need these medications to function normally.
Mm. Right. It's also hard to fight through decades worth of disinformation regarding cannabis, right? So that's
Yeah, they still call it the devil's lettuce sometimes.
right. Yes, yes. And it's hard to think that the devil's lettuce holds any therapeutic value. That is true.
Yep.
Can't hold both of those views at the same time. I agree completely. Last question, and this is more big picture again, is based on your experience at this point as a medical cannabis user, how do you feel about the idea of adult recreational use of cannabis?
I know it might upset some people, but I'm actually not a huge fan of recreational use. I mean, I like that I can function normally, but at the same time, I know if I take very much more than the absolute minimum I need or whatever maximum I need, then, it really messes with your head psychologically. And I'm not a fan of that. So I just think it might be a little dangerous if average people who are just going to take it to like for partying or something. Not that everyone would do that, but I would just be a bit more concerned with people having easier access to it.
Mhm. Yeah, and again, all points are valid, so I appreciate your responses and thank you. With that, I think I'm going to close up unless you have any other additional comments or questions.
No, I think I'm good. It was very nice talking to you.
Great. Thank you so much again for participating today, and we'll get this out. And thanks for being a teacher for all of us today. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.